The movie opens up in a supermarket. We can see a young woman named Iris pushing a cart, looking to add to her groceries, when she meets a man named Josh. Just as he gets enchanted by her beauty, they share an immediate connection. He tries to talk to her, only to accidentally cause a pile of oranges to fall, but then they all laugh it off. Iris, who is also the narrator, tells us that there were 2 moments when she felt happiest. The first was when she met Josh at the supermarket, and the second was the day she killed him. Iris and Josh grew romantically to become a couple. Just as they are traveling to a lake house to meet their friends for a weekend retreat, Iris reminisces on the time she met Josh, as she considers it perfect. When they get to the house, Josh is surprised to see how modern it is, as he initially thought it would be a rustic cabin in the woods. However, Iris is nervous, as she feels she might mess things up, and Josh's friends wouldn't accept her. Josh reassures her that she is safe with him. Kat, one of Josh's friends, welcomes him but doesn't really give Iris a warm welcome. She is introduced to the friend group: Eli and his boyfriend Patrick, and then Kat's boyfriend Sergey. Iris doesn't feel comfortable around them, as Kat and her boyfriend are acting a little bit off. Later on, they have dinner, as Patrick tells a romantic story of how he met his boyfriend Eli. Iris is particularly interested in the story as she resonates with it. After they had finished having dinner, Sergey lets Patrick know that he does so many things, and sometimes his hands aren't clean. Iris goes on to talk to Kat. She learns from her that Sergey isn't a responsible boyfriend and she is just like an accessory to him. Kat also tells Iris that she doesn't hate her, but only hates the idea of her, as she makes her feel replaceable. After, they all dance together as Iris tries to secure her man away from Kat. She brings him back to the room, where they have sex, and she continues showing her undying love to Josh. The next morning, Iris asks Josh to accompany her to the lake, to see the view, but he declines, saying he needs to rest a little. He assured her that she is safe, and shouldn't worry about him. So, Iris heads out to the lake. After staring at the view a little, she realizes that she has a pocket knife with her. Just then she sees Sergey. She tries to leave, but Sergey begs that she stay with him. Just as she proceeds to apply sunscreen on his body, Sergey attempts to come onto her, but she pleads that he stops. When he keeps on going, she uses a bottle to hit him hard and then shoves him backwards, where he hits his head on a rock. Sergey gets up pissed and then tries to strangle Iris, but she takes out the pocket knife and stabs Sergey in the neck. She goes back to the lake house covered in blood. The rest of the group are all shocked when they see this. So Josh demanded an explanation from her. Just as she narrates the whole ordeal to him, she makes him realize that she did it for him, as she thought about not seeing him again. Josh is freaked out and then instructs her to sleep, and she shuts down, her eyes going white.
Iris, go to sleep.
Josh ties up Iris. As they plan on what to do next, he tells Eli that he has no other option but to report her to the police. He then requests for alone time with her, as he needs to say his last goodbye. Josh turns Iris back on.
Iris, wake up.
We lost.
She is terrified and then begins to explain herself, saying it is self-defense. Josh lets her know that he believes her because she isn't programmed to lie. Iris gets confused for a second before he reveals to her that she is a companion robot designed for emotional support, and also for sex. He shows her how he controls her through his phone. Iris is in disbelief, as she argues to have memories like a normal human. Josh lets her know that they are just outlines implanted in her to give her a backstory. Even their first time meeting was just a fabricated memory that all the companion bots have when they form a love link with their owners. He tells her the origin of their relationship, and how a company known as Emphatics delivered her to him in a box. She is an emotional support robot and can be personalized to suit his taste, down from her intelligence to her skin color. All he needed to do was form a love link between them, and she would bend to his will and can do anything except harm humans or animals. Immediately after syncing, Iris asks his owner to stand 3 feet in front of her where she scans his face, and this was how the love link memory was created. Kat walks in on them having a discussion and then tells Josh to shut down the robot already. Iris is terrified, realizing that she will no longer exist. Josh takes Kat to discuss shutting Iris down for good. It was all a mapped out plan, as they intended to steal from Sergey, so they used Iris to carry out their plan. Realizing she is in trouble, Iris struggles to break herself free. Just as Josh comes to check up on her, she punches him in the throat so she can make her escape, along with a device that controls her. After Josh had regained consciousness, he tells Eli that he had added some illegal modifications to Iris, like auto self-defense, and also turned off the program that enabled her not to harm anyone. Realizing that he could be in trouble, he tells Eli that they need to find her before Emphatics does. He also reveals that he had killed Sergey with the help of Iris. Eli is left in disbelief but still decides to help. They take him to Sergey's safe where he keeps his money, revealing their motivation. Eli asks that they share the money between the four of them. But Josh disagrees, saying Patrick doesn't count. Eli is hurt and then shuts down Patrick, revealing that Patrick is also a companion robot. Josh tells him to do away with Patrick with the money and get a new robot upgrade. But Eli feels offended, saying Josh is robot shaming Patrick. They offer him $4 million to find Iris in the woods. Fearing that Iris could be a lethal threat, Eli grabs a gun from the safe and goes after her with Patrick. Iris retreats into the nearby woods, where she plays around with her control device and she increases her intelligence from 40% to 100%. The group plans to split into two groups to find Iris and then shut her down, but Eli finds it confusing and thinks Josh is having sex with Kat. Meanwhile, Iris tries to figure out a way to escape that won't end up harming or shutting her down. First she thinks of running to the road and ask for help, but her bloody clothes would scare people off, and next maybe go back to the lake house to change her clothes, but Josh might be there to kill her. She finally comes up with an idea, and decides to backtrack and go to the lake house, where she would use Josh's self-driving car to escape. Just as she's about to leave, she hears some footsteps and she quickly hides. Iris continues to hide until she overhears Eli and Patrick. The two have a moment, where Patrick tells him that he knows he is a robot. He has been putting pieces together. He remembers their love link moment when they met up at a Halloween party. He had grown an immediate connection with Eli after setting his eyes on him. Eli lets him know that he genuinely cares about him and loves him so much. He promises that he will never treat him like how Iris has been treated. Patrick acknowledges that he feels the same way even after realizing that he's a robot. They share a kiss, as they promise not to ever leave each other. Just then Iris's phone rings, revealing her cover. Just as Eli attempts to approach her with the gun, she runs for her life. He chases after her, and they end up tumbling down a hill. After then, they struggle for the gun, and due to the struggle, Eli gets shot through the chest and dies. Iris is apologetic as she runs away, leaving Patrick to mourn his lover and owner. Iris runs back to the lake house and quickly gets into Josh's self-driving car. He tries to go after her but gets his fingers jammed in the door. Just as she is about to start the car, the voice ID isn't recognized, so Iris has to use the device to modify her voice, while Josh keeps on smashing the car window. She is finally able to change her voice to match his so that the car can start. She instructs the car to take her home and then runs over Josh's foot. Josh quickly leaps inside the house to get a phone. He reports the car stolen, so the car shuts down, leaving Iris stranded on the road, with no means of getting out. Just then, she receives a phone call from Josh, telling her it's not too late to retrace her steps. He tries to manipulate his way into her head, saying he still loves her and they can get back to being lovers. Well, Iris breaks up with him, saying they are on two different paths and it can't work. Josh rushes into the woods to find Patrick mourning over Eli. He tries to tell him to go find Iris and retrieve his device for him, but Patrick is left motionless. A frustrated Josh then uses Eli's phone to increase Patrick's aggression level to 100. Josh reboots Patrick and establishes another love link with him, giving him full control of the robot. He instructs Patrick to find Iris and shut her down. Iris is left locked in the car. As she uses her legs to try and smash the window to escape, she is finally able to smash through, but she is spotted by Deputy Hendricks. When he comes in for questioning, she quickly changes her voice setting to German, as she doesn't plan on getting into any kind of trouble with the cop. Deputy Hendricks couldn't really understand her, but then when he sees a pocket knife dripping in blood on the car's seat, he immediately arrests. However, Patrick approaches them and smashes Hendricks's face aggressively until he is dead. He grabs Iris's control pad and then shuts her down. Patrick returns to the house with the cop's car. He had brought in Hendricks's body with Iris, as he carries her into the house. This leaves Josh and Kat in shock. Growing tired of all the murders, Kat decides to just take her half of the money and run away. Josh tries to make her stay, but she lets him know that Sergey's murder needed no justification as he was just a regular guy and was never in the mafia mob. He was just a terrible boyfriend and misogynist who made his money in sod farming. Josh tries to stop her, but she refuses to listen to him. Realizing he can't control her like one of his robots, Josh orders Patrick to stop her, but Patrick stabs Kat in the back. Josh is left in disbelief. He had not exactly asked that Kat be killed. Realizing she is going to eventually die, Kat tells Josh to stop talking, saying he has had enough of his yapping, as she goes over to sit next to Iris before she eventually dies. Josh and Patrick move the bodies into the woods where no one would see them. He then sets up a dinner date with Iris. After putting her back on, she lets him know that he is a bitter and weak person that thinks money would redeem him. Irritated by her speech, He turns her intelligence down to 0 and proceeds to inflict pain on her by placing her hand over a candle to burn the plastic skin off. He hands her a gun and then orders that she kill herself. Iris pulls the trigger as she blows her head out, seemingly shutting her down for good. Josh then calls the company that manufactured the robots to report Iris as a murderer. He reports she did all of that out of jealousy and then couldn't bear the guilt, so she had to take her own life. After listening to his story, the two Emphatix employees, Sid and Teddy, promised to crack down the case. Josh had dressed up Patrick as a cop to convince the employees that the police were involved already. Sid mentions that they can play back footage of what Iris saw, to crack down the case, since all her memories are stored in her mid-body and not her head. A few twigs and it is enough to reboot Iris back to life. Josh fears that they will watch the videos and he will be eventually exposed, so he sends Patrick to follow the van. Sid recognizes Patrick as one of their robots, but it is too late as Patrick shoots Sid dead, while Teddy manages to run into the woods. After catching up with Teddy, he tries to shoot him, but the gun is jammed, so he strangles him instead. Iris manages to reboot finally and then comes out in time to stop an aggressive Patrick from strangling Teddy. Just as Patrick is about to attack her, she tells him that Josh is just trying to use him, and does not in any way love him. She makes him remember that he was in love with Eli, not Josh. Patrick's memories of Eli begin to come back little by little, feeling remorse for what he has become. He grabs a cattle prod and puts it in his mouth, killing himself in the process. Teddy, on the other hand, thanks Iris for saving him, and she asks him to help her with something. Just as Josh is packing up money to escape, Iris returns to confront Josh, revealing that Teddy gave her full control of herself. She points a gun at him, for all the terrible things he had done to her, but Josh believes she won't shoot him and then attacks her instead. He gets a hold of the gun and then tries to shoot her. He hits her head severely, forcing her to acknowledge he is in full control of her life. However, she tells him the final words he would ever hear: "Go to sleep, Josh," and then drives an electric corkscrew into his head, which drills into his brain and kills him. After all battles have been fought, Iris removes the melted skin off her arm, exposing her robot hand. She has finally found her purpose as she takes Sergey's money and then drives off. On the road, she sees another companion bot that looks exactly like her. Iris smiles and then waves at her, showcasing her metal hand, which leaves the robot in confusion as she smiles, knowing that now she's a free bird. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more from this channel, please like, subscribe and turn on notification. Thanks.